So, I got a buddy of mine, really old, good friend of mine coming up. He's been living down in Pennsylvania for the past year. He's actually one of the guys that helped me throw some of these logs up the original space here. And he hasn't been back since. So, kind of interesting to see how he likes the cabin, how it's turned out. And I don't know, we're gonna kick back, have a couple beers, maybe play a little music, and just get out of this rainy, nasty weather. Alright guys, so my buddy Travis is up here. Finally came back from Pennsylvania. We're trying to get him to stay. He brought his little puppy with him. Come here, Teddy. Come here. Want to be on YouTube? Come here. You say she's Alaskan or Australian Shepherd?
Yeah, Australian Shepherd.
Teddy. You'll find love. Don't forget there is someone up above. So the rain finally let up. A few beers in. This little guy's losing his mind. Little girl. Teddy bear. What are you doing? So these pine trees that I planted, as you guys can see, one did not make it. But the rest are still living on strong. What are you scratching over there?
Really? Really? Seriously?
So how's it feel being back in New York, Travis?
A close up?
Yep, close up.
What the?
Gotta bring Timber up here. You guys can play. Really want up here, don't you? Oh boy. Oh no. Come up over here. Over here. So yeah, I don't have the composting toilet built yet, so he's out in this pouring rain. Going to take a poop. How'd it go? Are you wet?
No, not at all.
Just got to stain it up a little bit. Got bottom boards and stuff. Yeah, it's all just pine log that I split down the center. But works pretty good for this situation. Oh, hello folks, welcome to the cabin again. And I've had some questions asked to me, and instead of replying to every one of those via comment or message on YouTube, I thought I would just make a brief video once in a while, trying to answer these questions. Now it won't be very often that I make these videos because let's face it, I'm not that popular on YouTube, to put it bluntly. But every once in a blue, I think it's a good idea. I feel like it's more personal. To let's see what the first question here is. Let's see, you live in the cabin full time. I watched your one video from early April, and you were talking about making the switch. Is it full time yet? Kind of, sort of. It is a lot more permanent than it was. The cabin when I was building it, and before I started making these YouTube videos, was a weekend little retreat. It is now moved up to a more than part-time place of stay. We still do stay at our house, and we stay here. I would say probably here more often. We got to go through the process of renting the house out and all that fun jazz. But once that is done, the cabin will be a full-time situation. So that's my answer to that, I believe. Kinda, sorta. Next question is, hey Off-Grid Bo, I watched your one video, Cabin Life Tranquility, and noticed you're peeling white birch from the trees. Why would you do this? Just for decoration? Doesn't it harm the trees? Where I live, it is illegal to peel white birch from the trees. Okay, well, white birch, as most of you probably know, is and has been a fire starter. Probably since white birch and man has shared woods together, they have peeled white birch from trees to start fires. It is very oil-based bark, and it ignites better than paper. And as far as it hurting the tree, I've looked into it, a little bit. Taking the outside layer of bark from a white birch tree, as far as I'm aware, does not harm the tree whatsoever. It's when you dig in deep, they say past like quarter an inch, half inch, depending on who you're asking, then it can damage the tree a little bit. But if you're just peeling the excess layer off the tree, tree will be fine. So that would be my answer to that question. How long have you and LaShonda been together? Well, we are going on 4 years now. We've been, long story short, we jumped into a relationship pretty fast. So we didn't just date for years and then move in with each other. We jumped into it pretty quick. I would say within the first 5 or 6 months we were living together, and it's been pretty much a marriage. Minus the ring. Share bank accounts, share a house. So I would say it was pretty serious, obviously, and yeah, we're going on 4 years. How big is the cabin? The cabin is now, with the addition, a 12 by 20 structure. 16 by 20 structure with the porch added onto the specs. It's fairly small. It's, when I originally built it, I wanted to do it as easy as possible, because the cabin originally was going to be something just to get out of the rain in if I was hunting or fishing or whatever I may be doing. It was just meant to be a little shelter, and I didn't want to go overboard trying to drag logs to the woods by myself, which I did have some help. My father helped me, my buddy Travis helped me lug some of these logs through the woods, but a lot of it, the majority of it, I did myself, and it was a pain in the neck, and I'm glad I was just using 12-foot logs. Once I was finished with the 12 by 12 structure, I kind of got hooked on it. I would say almost an addiction, and I was surprised at how nice it came out for never doing something like this before, and I just kept adding on. I put the porch on, which is the 4 by 12, and then I put this other room on, which is the 8 by 6. But yeah, started with a 12 by 12. Alright, next question is, Bo, how do you like working as a armed guard for an armored car company? It has its ups and downs, for sure. The armored car company is definitely grossly underpaid. I would say grossly underpaid, similar to like what an EMT would be paid. We put our lives in danger to protect money. I've never liked the feeling of it. To be honest with you, if somebody tried to rob me, I'd probably tell them, hey, I'll help you load your truck up, because the money's insured, and it's just not worth your life over some money. But it's still a dangerous job. There's armed car robberies all the time, and because we are a smaller company of others that do this, we do a lot of the smaller accounts, which puts us in places that are not big flashy banks, but your little deli ATM out in the hood. And you're walking in a store with a big bag of $200,000. It's definitely sketchy sometimes. But the job itself, I like the work. It's fast paced. You're always moving around and about. Makes the day go by quick. But like I said, the negative part would be definitely it's grossly underpaid by a long shot. The goal is to get away from that job at some point. I was hoping it would be sooner, but because of certain circumstances, I'm still there. And eventually I'd like to just get a part-time job close to home. I do travel an hour to and from work. So that can be a pain in the neck. But find something closer and part-time for sure, because once we're out here full-time, the cost of living is going to dramatically decrease. So it'll allow for that and allow for more freedom, and then maybe one day not work. I don't know. That's going to be a long, long ways down the road. But we'll see how self-sufficient we can get this going out here with the gardening and the hunting and the trapping and the fishing. And alright, last question. Hey, Off-Grid Bo, what kind of dog is Timber and how old is he? Timber is a Siberian Husky and he is 8 years old, and I don't even like saying his age because I feel like he was just a puppy yesterday, and the dog's like my kid. I love him dearly, but he's getting older. He just had to go to the vets a couple weeks ago. He had a abscessed tooth. He had to get that pulled. He started getting a bump under his eye, and found out he does have Lyme disease. So now I got to take steps with that, precautions. I've always been very careful with him, so it's very unfortunate. I've always checked him, but it's hard with a Siberian Husky. So it's very unfortunate, but thankfully his count is very low, and he should never need any kind of medication or anything. And at his age, you know, by the time it could progress, he won't be around anyway. So on the fortunate side, it shouldn't affect his life at all. But it did kind of pain me to hear that, though. Here in the Northeast, especially the Adirondacks, ticks are bad everywhere's these days, but here especially. Lyme disease is at its highest right now in these areas in the past 5-6 years. So I should actually go and get myself checked out here soon. But I've always been very, very careful, and make sure I always do searches, and if I do have one on me, I make sure to get it out. So everything should be okay. But anyways, guys, that's all the questions. Keep them rolling. What I would like to do is in the question and answer video, if you could leave your questions right down in the comments, that would make life real easy, instead of having to search through all these videos and stuff. But it'd be very convenient, and I'd like to be able to answer your questions on video. I think it's a lot more personal. And I'm sorry if it bored a lot of you guys to death. So you know, heads up for the future. If you see the Q&A in the title, this is what this is going to be. I'm also going to mix in a little bit of what I've done through the week. You know, it's been kind of a hectic week. I haven't really got to shoot an actual video. Oh yes, a friend of mine, Cabin Life. Check his channel out, by the way. It's a really good channel. Cabin Life. I'll put the link in the description. Right now in Ontario, they're facing massive wildfires. There's multiple wildfires that are spreading still. They're still not under control, and a lot of people are having to abandon ship and go somewhere safe. And I just want to give a shout out to him. I hope you're going to be okay over there. I just want to give you the best of luck and wishes, and I've been thinking about you guys, and hope everything works out okay. And yeah, that's it, folks.